Brady. This is going to be exciting.
And we got car restarts up. We got a green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race, coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Welcome, Goat Locker Racing fans, to the SAVE22 Friday Night Truck Series. And tonight, we find ourselves at the track Too Tough to Tame for race number 8 out of our 10-race regular season. Tonight means only 3 more chances for these drivers to lock into the playoffs that are just around the corner. Can one of the previous winners come out victorious once more and put more weight on the points battle at the cut line? We will find out who can tame the Lady in Black right here live on V-Speed. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Darlington. I'm Logan Threlkeld, and joining me in the booth tonight as our co-commentator and producer, Eddie Smith. Eddie, Darlington is known as the track Too Tough to Tame for a very good reason. Would you care to inform our viewers as to why it's earned that nickname?
Well, it's designed to just crush spin. That's what it's designed to do. It is designed to just race cars and spit them out, and also keep talking. I'm talking about Darlington. You can see I'm already got a couple donuts on the side of my face already, but this track is incredible. It's got a very interesting layout. It's got a just the complete opposite in the corners. You'll see that you go down into turn 1, you're almost flat out. You lift just a second, fly off into the corner, right up to the top of the track. You come screaming off of turn 2, using all that momentum, and then you go down into those really tight 3 and 4 where you have to really slow down. So it's going to test you. You can't forget what corner you're in. You'll be in trouble.
One of my favorite facts about this track, Eddie, is just outside of turn 4 there. You can see it on the Google imaging. That is a minnow pond. That is the reasoning for the egg shape of Darlington. When this track was originally built, that was a contingency of the farmer who sold the land. Did not want that minnow pond touched, so they had to kind of revamp things here down on the far end of the track. It's really made a name for itself throughout the years. The Lady in Black, track Too Tough to Tame. We've got the Darlington Stripe. It's a land of many nicknames here. But it's going to be a great race. But for now, let's send it over to our Navy vet, Jared Ashley, for our national anthem before we get started.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
A big thank you once again to Navy veteran Jared Ashley for the national anthem. Eddie, our qualifying effort has completed. We've got trucks lining up on the track. What do you say we take a look here, see who claimed our Jam Printing and Promotions Pull Award? That's going to go to the 78 of David Duke with a 28.892, next to the 07 of Patrick Dravick with a 28.918. Levi McCarty will start third tonight with the 24 machine, with Michael McCarthy on the outside in the 22. Fifth place goes to last week's winner at Lime Rock Park, Timothy Peters in the 46, next to last season's champion, the 42 of Jeremy Gardner. Seventh goes to Jacob Ellingson in the 27 machine, next to the 87 of Jake Ham in 8th. Craig Bontrager takes the 49 machine to a top 10 starting spot, sitting in 9th, next to the 4 of Mike Browning, making up the last of our top 10.
Starting 11th, George Jewell with Aaron Gordon in that 12th spot. Logan Sturgeon rolls off in 13th. Jamie Mullins alongside him in 15th. Daniel Cunningham with Chance Taylor in 16th. 17th, Brandon Wallace. James Kaufman in 18th. 19th, Stephen McDonald and Michael Seaboy round out the top 20. 21st is Tyler Justice, Charles Phelps, good old Chuck Phelps. Second round out your field is 64.
Only 23 cars on the field tonight, should make for some good racing here. While we've got a moment before we get rolling, let's bring up our points on the season so far, since we're getting ever so close to closing out the regular season. Jake Ham with a couple of wins on the board, sitting first in the point standings. Patrick Dravick, Jeremy Gardner, Levi McCarty, and Timothy Peters all claiming one win on the season. Jake Ellingson sitting plus 37 above the cut line with the 22 of Michael McCarthy plus 21. Mike Browning also plus 21 on the cut line. Craig Bontrager plus 12. Steve McDonald, George Jewell, Michael Kostick all on the hot seat going into tonight. Jamie Mullins, Chance Taylor, both looking to take advantage of tonight's race and try to get above that 12th spot. Things are getting hot down there at that cut line, Eddie.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun next few races. Steve McDonald being so close right there, and it just wouldn't take but one race to kind of change it all. And of course, anybody down there, I mean, Chance Taylor has been fast. He can get a win. So can Jamie Mullins and Michael Kostick. They can all get wins and lock themselves into the playoff. Take a look at your race analysis before we get going green. 100 laps here tonight. Pit road speeds 45 miles an hour. 4 tire sets available. 2 green white checker to 10 100% fuel load. Fuel is 55 to 58 laps. 20 big setup.
They're coming around turn number 4. We're going to have David Duke, Patrick Dravick leading us to the green flag. Bury the flag man with it in the air, and we're green flag racing at Darlington. Lap number 1 completed, and that's going to be our pole setter taking the first lap of the race. David Duke just out by a couple car lengths there, but the battle's on for second. Drabick was under fire immediately coming from the 24. McCarty able to get ahead just barely there out of turn number 2. Got a little bit more of a battle just behind. That was Jeremy Gardner in the yellow 42 machine looking to the inside of the 46 of Peters. Nothing doing there. Single filed out here through the top 7, it looks like.
Yeah, good start. I think Levi McCarty, Patrick Drabick, they're going to be rivals this season. I think we're going to see them constantly around each other. And they had a great side-by-side battle on that first lap, knowing how important it is to make sure that you get that track position, and it allowed David Duke to kind of scoot away. As you can see now, Levi McCarty starting to slip away from Drabick, with Drabick under fire from
Drabick spending some time on the practice session trying to figure out which line was going to work best. And Eddie, I had to say, the top line was looking ultra dominant. Oh, contact to the left rear. The 07's around, the 22's around in the inside wall. That's going to bring out the first caution of the night. The 36 gets involved.
And Patrick
what
Drabick
happened there?
Goes around. Oh, man, not happy. Drabick. Yeah, well, we were watching it, and we had a great view of that. Is man, these guys are frustrated as we're up early. And, man, this one's going to be tough, real tough. And I think you'll see this multiple different ways. We were on board with McCarthy, and McCarthy's just going to get down on the inside of turn number 2 and makes contact with the 07. The 07 goes around. And I get it. What Michael McCarthy's thinking is, I'm going to try to make a move here, but it's just a bad place to make a move on lap 4. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's the great, I just don't think people are expecting you to try to make that move that early.
Yeah, certainly not the 07. So that's going to be a big hit to the front right, into the outside wall, then McCarty down to the inside wall, or McCarthy rather, to the inside wall. Looked like he came out relatively clean, but still going to be some heavy implications here. I think he took a harder hit from Drabick's machine after it bounced off the wall.
Yeah.
And you saw the 36 of George Jewell kind of got stuck between McCarthy and the wall, so a little bit of damage there. But should be all right. David Duke still leading the race. This is going to give McCarty a good chance to try to challenge, as he no longer has Drabick to go through to get to David Duke. Timothy Peters going to be a big benefactor from that one, up a couple positions into the top 3. See if he can make anything happen on the bottom line restart. Jeremy Gardner will be on his outside. Jake Ellingson, 3rd row on the inside with Jake Ham to the outside. Bontrager, row 4 next to Browning. Barrett Morton will make up row 5 next to Logan Sturgeon.
That's a tough wreck to happen so early. Man, that's a bummer for both those guys. I mean, they're both on pit road, so blame fault. Whoever's at fault, it's really hard to say. It's just that turn, like I said in the beginning of the race, you drive down into the bottom of the corner, you go up to the wall, and you have to cut down on exit. And so I think McCarthy needs to be a little bit more alongside of Drabick before he is there on that turn. I think I think the expectation is that you're coming down off the top line, and it's a really tough spot to put anybody in to try to make that move off of 2. That's such a tight part of the racetrack. So bummer for both those guys. I don't know if it's too much of a bummer for Drabick because he is locked in. McCarthy, though, he was 21 points above the cutoff. This is going to be huge for him.
You hit exactly what I was about to mention. McCarthy is going to be the big loser in that event. That's going to be a big damper here for both drivers, obviously. But Drabick already locked in. He's just looking to collect some more bonus points to go into the playoffs with. But McCarthy, he could have used a good finish here tonight to try to secure his spot with only 2 races left after tonight. Pace truck is off. We're going to go back green here shortly. David Duke, Levi McCarty will be into the InVets restart zone shortly. Green flag in the air. And back on the loud pedal we go. Duke with another good jump. McCarty not quite there to challenge.
Yeah, these restarts are extremely important. I think that's why we're seeing folks aggressive. You see Timothy Peters down on the bottom, trying to make a move, but Levi McCarty now gets a run off of turn 2. He's looking down to the inside, not quite there yet, but Levi getting aggressive here early. We talked about tire wear being an issue, but it seems like these guys are thinking more maybe about track position at this point. As here comes McCarty down to the inside on the front straightaway. This is going to be tight right here.
McCarty looks to the inside, has to whoa it up just a little bit as David Duke up into the wall, just a touch for that front right bumper, dragging the ground through the corner. Sparks are flying, though, up here in the top 2. McCarty slides back in behind. Look at that. There's the 46 of Timothy Peters, who caught back up rather quickly as well, as these two are challenging side by side once more down the front stretch. McCarty with the lap led this time by. Duke slides in behind. You mentioned the tire wear. You mentioned the tire wear there, Eddie. It was my question would be, at this point, so early in the race, is tire wear more important or is the clean air more important?
I think track position is going to mean more than tires, really. These guys are all going to probably save similar tires here. We'll see how Levi kind of drops off, but I think track position, it's really hard to pass once the tires start to fall off. I mean, Levi McCarty's not making that move around the outside of turn 3 and 4, 20 laps into this run, especially not as we get to 30 and 40 if we stay green. So I think track position's important. I think you want to be out front if you can. That's where the most downforce is. You're going to need every bit of it to make these turns.
We'll see as the run goes on why this track has the Darlington stripe name attached to it. We'll have to keep an eye on corner exit. Both turns 2 and 4 will be subject to sliding up the racetrack on exit, tagging the right rear to the wall, earning that stripe on the paint job. Sitting on board on the Invets in-car camera with David Duke right now in second after leading 8 laps. Levi McCarty takes over. Duke kind of running that middle line right there above the dotted white line, kind of that middle seam of the track, preserving some tires there as McCarty continues to run high up on the track. Duke now slides up behind McCarty and the wall just a touch. It's going to give McCarty a good drive off and separate first and second place a little bit more, now 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, let's break down a lap real quick. As you can see, McCarty up at the top line. He's driving down on exit. And you see David Duke right around the bottom. But both these drivers need to drive in on the bottom. You'll hear the RPM sort of stay up. There's a quick lift and then right back on the throttle as you let the car or truck just kind of shift up the track. A little bit of lift to keep it from getting too tight, and then drive it down off the bottom on exit to get the run down the back straightaway. And then 3 and 4, it's just wherever your truck runs the best. The high side carries a lot of momentum. The bottom, though, is the shortest way around, and you can see both those drivers electing to take it right there. So that's why it's so tough. There is not a whole lot of room for error, Logan. Yeah, you make one little small mistake in that whole little deal there, you're in the wall. You can see some sparks flying out of the 78.
That's got to be that right front bumper. There's the Darlington stripe already for Duke, catching that corner exit out of 2. You're going to see that a lot tonight. But what's fascinating to me right now, Eddie, we've got 2 drivers in the top 3 that already have wins, and they're locked into the playoffs. David Duke sitting in second. He's not even close, really, to the top 12. So a win tonight for the 78 machine, locking that car into the playoffs. That's got some big implications on tonight. Duke needs a flawless run here, get back around the 24 machine of McCarty as soon as he can, try to pick up some bonus points for laps led, and go into the playoffs with some higher hopes.
Yeah, I mean, there are quite a few drivers that this is their moment. This is the next few races. They're pretty much in a must-win situation. And I think, David Duke is definitely one of those. Timothy Peters did a great job last week, just dominated at Lime Rock Park, so he's good. And then you got Jeremy Garner. There he's in. Ellingson is pretty good on points. He just needs to not have any terrible races. But there's a lot of guys that have opportunities to get wins this week. But right now, it looks like David Duke is the best of the rest when it comes to that. And, you just got to stay up front. Darlington is one of those where if you could see the front, you're in good shape. You know, if you can't see it, you're probably in trouble. But if you could see the leader, that's what you need to do. Just make sure you don't let him get too far away. And right now, Duke is doing a great job of just keeping Levi McCarty in his windshield. And if you do that, by the time you hit lap 100, you got a good shot.
One interesting thing to mention here, we ended season 8 at Darlington, and we had a non-playoff driver win it. That was Jake Ham in the 87, who is now locked into this season's playoffs. So what does the 87 team do here? Are they going to try to go all out for a win again, make it back-to-back wins at Darlington? Or are we going to play it safe and just continue on into the playoffs with some good momentum? How do you think the 87 plays this?
Well, I think once you have a win, you go for the win no matter what. You push as hard as you can, and your strategy all kind of you're just super aggressive. You don't need to be passive. You don't need to play it safe. And so I think Jake Ham will definitely, given the opportunity to get up there and win, he'll take it. But right now he's about 3.5, almost about 3 seconds back from the leader. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get up there. And you know, we kind of mentioned it before the race. If you get behind here, a lot of times the cautions, even with spins and stuff, down on the inside, you don't get that caution. And so the likelihood we go green a lot of the way, it's definitely likely. So better figure it out quick. Tire wear was a big issue. We're going to start seeing that tire wear play a big deal right here. We'll see who's been saving it.
About 15 to 20 laps into the run, right where we're at is where I was talking to a lot of the drivers. They had mentioned that tire fall off is now a battle forming for third. Peters on the outside, Gardner on the inside. Gardner gets just ahead here at the stripe. Peters charges back around the outside and nearly contact there.
Oh,
right before the entry, and Peters way slow, almost got collected up by the 27.
Yeah, that wall grabbed him just a little bit as Gardner put the pressure on him into one, and Peters trying to catch it and makes contact with the wall. That brings Jacob Ellingson right up to his back bumper.
You can see some right rear damage now on the 46. Could be a little bit from contact from another truck, but most likely, of course, the track itself. So these drivers really challenge themselves to stay as close to that outside wall as possible. Again, you'll see a lot of times, especially later on into the run, is now Ellingson looking to the inside here. He's at the bumper, not quite to the door. Can he get the drive off that he needs? Oh, it looks like the 46 will get clear once more. Is Ellingson going to try it again? He's not.
He got tight off the bottom. That right front starting to get eat up just a little bit, and trying to hold the bottom too wide in 3 and 4 is just not working out. The outside just becoming more dominant back out in 3 and 4. You can see Peters sort of running that outside line previously, and he's able to hold off by getting the run off the corner as they run similar similar lanes this time. And you see Ellingson going to get a run here. It seems like right now it's really hard to pass in 3 and 4. The best spot is to try to get the run right here and maintain enough momentum off of turn 2. You see how Ellingson was getting a huge amount of momentum and had to lift. The truck starts to get a little bit tight. You got to get that momentum off too and try to get at least alongside the truck before you get into 3 and 4. It's going to be tough if you don't do that.
That's what it's all about, is adjusting to this track as the run goes on. This time by third place, Jeremy Gardner. He's the fastest truck on the track, has our leaders by about 5/100ths of a second. It's not much, but it is what Gardner needs to start catching up and challenging for a top spot. A little bit of shuffling going on behind.
Yeah, about 5 drivers tail slap the wall there. So I don't know if Darlington's reaching out or they're trying to touch Darlington, but there was a couple donuts added to the wall that last lap. So the tire's starting to fade pretty quickly as Gardner, yet again, 0.2 of a second faster than the leader. That time by in 0.3 almost in second place. And you see Michael McCarthy coming out of pit road.
22 back on track now. Looks like Patrick Drabick, he's been on track for the last couple of laps, so he's got a 3-lap advantage over the 22. However, it doesn't matter
Little
much as
contact
Ellingson into
here.
the wall. Peters into the
Oh!
wall. There goes Jake Ham on the bottom. He's going to get the 2-for-1 special.
They call that a twofer. What a great
A
corner
twofer
there
it was.
for Jake Ham, as Ellingson just gets real tight there, and then right in front of him, Peters gets into the wall, has to check up, and Ham was like, thank you, I'll have another, and he is going to jump up to that fourth position. So Jake Ham, trying to defend his win last season, is starting to move forward here as everybody else starting to fade. We're seeing Timothy Peters start to fade. Cunningham coming forward. Daniel Cunningham, somebody we haven't mentioned yet so far, started 15th. He is up to 8th, Logan. So we're starting to see who's been saving tires and who's been pushing maybe a little bit too hard.
So the most positions gained on the track, going to the 91 right now, looking to claim another. So he's stuck in behind the 46 of Peters, looking for any opportunity that he can. Craig Bontrager a few laps ago got around the 46, right after we saw Ham get the 2-for-1 special. Peters still electing to run that high line. Looks like a lot of these drivers are starting to kind of modify that line, Eddie, where we're seeing that high entry, middle, and then kind of bring it back down to the bottom on the exit, rather. It's shaping up a little bit different than what I'm used to seeing Darlington run, but that track temperature being so low, allowing these drivers to find all the grip that they can right now. 76 degrees in the air, 82 degrees on the surface. So it's going to be grip city out here tonight. It's just a matter of finding it.
Yeah, that right front starts to wear out just a little bit, and 3 and 4 becomes just, you're almost coming to a crawl. You're having to slow down so much, such a contrast to turn 1 and 2, where you still, even on at the end of the runs, you're staying in the throttle quite a bit to keep that momentum up. You just have to. But right here in 3 and 4, as the tires start to wear, I mean, these guys are down to 130. Craig Bontrager, 130 miles an hour in the middle of 3 and 4 there. That's how much they're slowing down, and then we'll contrast it here to the middle of 1 and 2. They enter in at about 160, and then they gas it up 155 for Craig Bontrager. So a good bit difference in speed between the two corners, and that outside line in 3 and 4 just keeps that speed up and allows you to get off the corner. So as the tire runs, tires start to continue to fall off, that outside line will be sort of the dominant line, especially if you're trying to pass, which we see Barrett Morton trying to make that pass on the bottom here on Timothy Peters. It's a battle for 8.
Not to mention the 9 and the 46 battling right now, allowing the 26 of Logan Sturgeon to start closing that gap. It's about to be a three-horse race here for the last spots of our top 10. See who's going to come out on top. One thing we haven't noted yet, Eddie, is the fuel run that we're seeing from these trucks, anywhere from 50 to about 57 laps. So they could theoretically take this to a one-stop race. It's all going to come down to how these cautions fall, if there even are any more.
Yeah, I think right now the big strategy call is do you undercut and by how much? And we've got Brandon Wallace coming down pit road. I don't know if that is on purpose. He may be trying a two-stop strategy. We talked a little bit pre-race about this. We feel like you can go all the way on one stop. But Brandon Wallace feeling like maybe the tire wear is enough to try to do a two-stopper. I don't think that's the right call. But regardless, the 99 coming down pit road for 4 tires and fuel. So
right now we're only about 2 seconds off the pace. Best strategy, like you had mentioned talking pre-race, it's about that 3-second mark of fall off that you want to consider getting new tires at a smaller track. Darlington only being 1.36 miles around. It kind of falls into that category where that two-stop strategy might come into play. However, that fall off not being as much as we thought it could be, that might change things here. A lot of these drivers going to elect to stay out. Brandon Wallace will be the first one to test this theory for us. So we'll keep an eye on the 99, see if he can work his way back through the field. However, he has fallen a lap down, looks like possibly 2 laps down for the 99. So a lot of room to make up right now.
Well, while we were watching
McCarty
we missed a pass for the lead. So let's take a look at that real quick. Or not pass for the lead, excuse me, a pass for second. Take a look at it real quick. Jeremy Garner going to get around David Duke. See, right around the outside for the 42. He's going to get the run off the corner, and David Duke gets real loose off the exit of turn 2, and that really wasn't much of a pass at all. More David Duke just trying to save the thing, and so Gardner now up to second.
You think Gardner was close enough to put some air underneath the rear bumper there of Duke? It kind of got him loose. It hasn't really been shown yet on the run that we're on to see just how much that aero affects the handling of these trucks. But I'll tell you what, Levi McCarty loving what he's seeing in the rearview mirror. So he's now got a 1.5 gap over second place. Jeremy Gardner being challenged by the 22 of Michael McCarthy, laps down. The 87 of Ham now to the inside of David Duke. We'll see if he's got anything for a third place spot here. Coming around to the front stretch. Not quite enough, so he'll fall back in behind David Duke.
Yeah, Duke's starting to fall back just a little bit. Seeing him get loose off of 2 there, it's indicative of just tires really starting to fade here. But all of them are sliding. You could see almost the rear tires are sliding, just kind of throwing the back end around off of 2. So it seems like these guys are really struggling. Let's go aboard with Jake Cam here and just watch the steering wheel as they come off the corner and see off of 2 just how much they are fighting this thing as he's trying to run down Duke here. So he's still running that line, about half a lane lower. Has to lift right here just to make sure he makes the exit. You see, you can almost hear the RPMs go up on the truck on exit just as the truck unloads, and that is a very scary moment. And if you're trying to make a pass or hold somebody off, if you don't pay attention, that can definitely eat you alive. So
we saw it right there before we got back to the track camera here. Ham was getting a really good run out of turn number 4. He closed that gap up significantly, now only separated by about a car and a half. Looks like he's going to lose some ground once more through 1 and 2. So the 87 machine has figured out 3 and 4. 1 and 2 still could use a little bit of work. David Duke's going to use that to his advantage for the time being, protecting the low line now through 3 and 4. And looking to make a charge around the outside. He's going to close the gap, gets a good drive off. He's going to challenge for the inside into turn number 1. Side by side down the front stretch. He's going to get clear. Will he be able to woe it up, or is he going to get into the wall here? Keeps it off the wall. Perfect execution on that pass going into turn number 1. The 87 of Ham into the 3rd spot on the night. Up 9 positions as well.
These passes are not easy. Ham set that pass up about 3 laps before he actually made it. He was trying a couple things, trying to see where Duke was not as good as him, where he could change his lineup, trying to find that momentum so you can get beside him. You don't want to be at his left rear quarter panel. You want to be right beside him going into 1 to make him lift and give you that spot. And Ham just knocked it out of the park, got the huge run off of 4, got side by side. That's how you do it. And it takes 2 or 3 laps. It's not easy to just do that quickly. You have to time it just right to be able to get that done. And Jake Ham actually running down 2nd place, Jeremy Garner quick. Garner had a bad lap a couple laps ago, and this time he was 4/10 slower than Jake Ham. So,
and look at this, Eddie. David Duke has brought it down pit road now. So he's going to be the first one out of the top 5 to go in for fresh Goodyear tires. See just how well that's going to play out. This fuel window, it might take him to the end if he can make it stretch out to 56 laps. He's going to need every single ounce that he can get through the box just a little bit too far.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah, that. It doesn't look like it'd be much, but that's a difference of a half second there that could be super important later on in the race.
Yeah, I don't like the short pit here. I think Duke is obviously, caution on the speedway. Kaufman around backwards on the front stretch, and we got our first caution of the night, and David Duke, he is not happy about that. David
Duke 1 lap down, and he is the first car lap down. Oh, my goodness. James Kaufman.
Those rear tires are scorched right now. He cannot get it back going.
Serious handling issues now for the 25. After that ride, we'll take it back on the V-Speed Instant Replay. Oh, hopefully that was some avoidance there that we just saw. High up into the wall there. He collects it back up. What happens on corner exit? Just loose once more, gets into the right rear of the 37 machine. That's going to be Michael Seymour who gets collected. Oh, Brandon Wallace with a big hit to the back end of the Seymour machine. James Kaufman trying to get it back going.
He could get
a
it
little
going,
bit of a lead foot there.
Matt Knight's had a crazy. Let's go on board with him. I'm going to watch him as he dodges this wreck.
So on corner exit of 2.
That Knight's not having a good
Knights.
time either. He is struggling.
64 likes to see this yellow flag come out so he can come down safely for some fresh tires. But here's where the action starts. The right rear contact into the wall on the outside. Kaufman locks it up, takes it to the inside. Matt Knight's almost squeezed between the wall and the 25. A quick correction puts him back to the middle of the track. And a fantastic avoidance for the 64 machine.
My goodness. Well, everybody coming down pit road now for 4 tires and fuel. Brandon Wallace obviously not wanting to see that caution either as he pitted on lap 33. That's the danger of a 2-stop here. That really pretty much, I mean, that's unless he gets a quick caution, it's going to be tough for him to sort of recover. Now he's 1 lap down. David Duke will get the wave around, but that's about just as bad almost because he'll be at the end of this field. He'll be restarting in 19th with the same set of tires everybody else has. So that's the dangers of pitting early at a track like this. The short pit has never really been a good option here. The overcut has always sort of been the right call. And I think Duke, with just feeling the pressure of falling backwards, you never as a racer want to have people passing you over and over again. And I think Duke was like, I'm going to take a shot here, try to come down and get 4 tires and fuel, and try to go out there and make up the difference with those new tires. And just an untimely caution.
It was certainly worth the effort. The timing just not playing in favor for David Duke. But we'll see if he can do anything about it. Adjust to the track here to drive through. Looks like 18 cars is what will be in front of the 78 machine. Possibly more here. We'll have to see where he lines up, if he'll be stuck on the inside line, outside line, where that 78 machine will start. While we've got a moment, while we thank one of our sponsors real quick, Eddie, let's start with our Lincoln Tech. Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers and a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, and they are the title sponsor of the Spring Series, a very large partner of Goat Locker Racing. Coming around turn 3 and 4 into the InVets restart zone we go. McCarty's going to start us back green once more. A big stack up at the back of the pack. McCarty with a great jump here. Gardner able to get up to the 2nd spot. Starting in 3rd on that restart, Jake Ham falls in behind. Sitting in 3rd, Daniel Cunningham. Jake Ellingson right on his bumper there for 4th.
Cars are fanning out all over this track, and now it's a battle of the guys who have sort of worked their way up towards the front. Levi has moved up 2 spots, Gardner up 4, and Jake Ham up 5. And then right behind him, you got Cunningham, who's up 11. These guys know how to get it done. I think if you're Gardner and McCarty, you got to be looking at what that 87 did. The 87 saved a good amount of tire. Now he's up here in 3rd. He's in a great position. If they don't manage those tires, especially if we go all the way to the end here, they're going to be in trouble. So I think right now you better be up front managing those tires. But you can see them all getting single file here as they cross the line for lap 51.
Darlington single files the field out very quickly here. It's not a bad play to have because where you're going to be looking to pass, you don't really want to have a whole lot going on around you. You want a nice, clean inside line or outside line if you're feeling brave enough. Right now, not seeing too much. Just halfway through this race, McCarty with a dominating effort ever since David Duke fell out of the lead. The 24 has led every single lap since then.
Yeah, McCarty was aggressive getting up there to the front and really has just tried to maintain it. McCarty is just one of those drivers who can get it done almost anywhere, but seems to really shine at the driver tracks. I mean, he put a whooping on him last season at Phoenix, just dominated the race. And so far, he has been extremely dominant so far. 43 out of 52 laps he has led. His main competition is now running back in 15th position. That's David Duke. And we're going to see what Garner and Ham have. Levi had a pretty nice lead. Garner was able to get through some traffic and was able to kind of get within 2 seconds, but started to fall off. So McCarty is showing some, he's able to have the short run and the long run. So right now, McCarty showing out.
And he's going to have to continue to do so for the next 47 laps. So we're coming around to start lap 54. We'll see if Gardner has anything to challenge. We'll see if last season's Darlington winner has anything to say at the end of this race. The 87 currently sitting in third is also in a great spot here. Daniel Cunningham showing excellent pace here as he's worked through now 11 cars to get up to the fourth spot for the 91 machine. Jake Ellingson hanging on to fifth right now with Craig Bontrager behind. Jamie Mullins in the 66. Then we've got Peters, Sturgeon, and Browning to round out the top 10. From seventh on back, a little bit over a second to 2.5 seconds difference from first place.
I like Ham's position here. It seems like he is saving a little bit of tire. But he's also managing the cars behind him. He doesn't want to let all 4 of those guys go, which is very easily, it can happen quickly because he's not in a position where you can just let somebody go. We got Brandon Wallace in the 99. We'll see if he stays on the track. He is going to stay on the track. Everybody going to go around him. But, yeah, you know, you don't want to let anybody go because everybody being so close here. If Ham, you know, if Cunningham gets to the inside of him, he could lose 2 spots quickly. We saw him take advantage of that. So it seems like Ham is definitely watching these two, how they're going to battle, trying to save those tires. We know how good he is at that, and he has been so good here tonight. But you got to make sure you don't let yourself kind of lose a bunch of spots here. So he's going to have to be – you have to figure out what he wants to do, be aggressive here, push a little bit, or defend that 91 who's all over the back bumper now.
The question at hand for Ham right now, do you run in third for a while, let the first 2 drivers start to battle things out, use each other up as much as possible while you're saving tires, just defending your position? How do you really try to go about it? The strategy could be just about any one that you choose. You could attack for that number 1 spot early, but you're at risk of losing your tires. You could save your tires, but then you're at risk of running too late. So it's going to be a matter of finding out exactly where you can strike if you want to go from that third place spot up to the top step of the podium.
Levi McCarty, 0.3 of a second faster he's lapping than everybody behind him, everybody on the track. Just laid down a 29.7 last lap and a 29.8. So Levi McCarty is rolling here at Darlington. Gardner, his Ham's going to get caught up into the wall a little bit, get stuck, and that's going to really stack him up behind him. Is now Ellingson going to go down to the inside of Cunningham, who had to check up from that.
So Ellingson might be able to benefit here and insert the 27 to the top 4. Door to door now with Daniel Cunningham. Ellingson on the low line. He's got a little bit of speed coming across the front stretch, but nothing doing just yet.
Yeah, Cunningham just let him go.
Ooh,
Smart
he did
move.
get around.
Yeah, Cunningham let him go into 1. Smart move. He had Ellingson had the position there, and Craig Bontrager's right behind him. So if he fights him in the corner, that slows them both up. And, you know, the 91, like we've said a bunch of times, in risk of losing more positions. Does the right thing, just lets him go. I like it. Super smart.
So the slip up from the 87 doesn't hurt him, but it does benefit Jacob Ellingson. Up 1 more spot here, ever so close to the top 3 finishing spot, which would definitely benefit him in the long run. He's not locked in on points just yet, but by my math, Eddie, I think a combination of a top 10 finish and a top 5 finish this week and next week would essentially lock him in on points.
Yeah, it's so tough to points race like that. You just don't know what will happen. You know, if I'm Ellingson, I still want to go up there and get this win. But, you know, we've talked about his struggles of finishing races sometimes. This season in the trucks, he's actually had a fantastic season. plus 37 above the cutoff is nothing to sneeze at with just a couple races left to go. But you don't want to start that downward trend of having incidents. And it seems like with Ellingson, once it starts to go bad, it starts to kind of spiral. So he's got really good momentum right now. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the points, he needs to just continue to finish well. They always say in real racing, if you finish in the top 5, eventually you're going to get a win. And so he's putting himself in the right position, just needs the luck to kind of go his way as he's starting to put a little pressure here on J Cam.
Well, Eddie, you might be behind the scenes typically controlling the cameras, but I know you're always listening. You know what my favorite saying is. That's consistency is key.
It is.
Jacob Ellingson finally having that consistent season that he needed to rebound from season 8. But right now, still looking to just try to extend that point safety net a little bit further.
Out
Still
front.
nothing quite doing up front between McCarty and Gardner. McCarty's still out 0.3 of a second, but Gardner's not going away anytime soon.
Garner's faster. He has been the last couple laps, laying down some really quick lap times, is starting to put pressure on the 24, which we haven't seen since McCarty was battling with Patrick Drabick on lap 1. McCarty got out front, got around Duke, and it's been the Levi McCarty show all night. And while Garner had to drive up through a couple more cars to get up towards the front, kind of got stuck. Now he was in a great position starting second this time, and now it's sort of on equal footing. Now we're going to find out who is able to save tires, who's pushing a little bit too hard, and right now it's going to be I think a pretty good battle here as they are sort of checked out from that top 3 on back.
Also checked out, the 07 of Patrick Drabick has elected to retire from the race early, as well as it looks like the 33 of Tyler Justice. He's been out for about 40 laps now. So 2 drivers out of our 23 starting drivers down to just 21, still turning laps. Couple drivers towards the back, 1 lap down, George Jewell, James Kaufman. 1 lap down, Brandon Wallace, Michael Seymour. 2 laps down, Michael McCarthy, still out here in the 22 machine. Just trying to see if anything can change for his luck. Try to salvage some sort of a points night. But with that, why don't we thank another one of our sponsors, Eddie? SAVE22 seems like a good fit here. SAVE22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Our unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate, otherwise known as SAVE. We'd like to thank SAVE22 for everything that they do.
Yeah, I want to mention something about SAVE22. Go check out SAVE22 on YouTube at SAVE22Vet. They do a Tuesday talk on, you wouldn't believe it, Logan, but it's on Tuesday. And they talk about real problems that vets and military members have dealt with, trying to reacclimate to civilian life as they come out of the military, dealing with all the issues that are tough to talk about. And they talk about them all. John Moser over there, incredible guy. Got to talk to him a few times. Please go check out SAVE22. Great organization, great things that they're doing. And this is all virtual racing. They're doing stuff real and doing some real stuff in the real world at racetracks, but also with veterans. And please go support them and at least show up as, my goodness, Craig Bontrager are going to get into the wall. And you can see sparks flying as Jamie Mullins trying to take advantage of it, but going to fall back. But yeah, go check out SAVE22, man. Just incredible folks. A lot of great work that they're doing. Go check them out. I love SAVE22. Really happy to have them on board and be a bigger part of Goat Locker. They've come on as the sponsor for the Goat Talk, and now they're the sponsor of this series. So huge shout out to those guys. It's just really awesome.
Meanwhile, the battle for first has started to separate once more. McCarty has gotten advantage of a half second now over Gardner. We saw the pace that Gardner was putting down, turning laps that were still in that 29-second range. Now he's fallen back to just under 31 seconds. Meanwhile, McCarty is still running a 30.863, 1/10 faster right now than the 42 machine. Not a whole lot of drivers still in the 30-second range. So fall off and starting to become a little bit more of an issue. However, there's no yellow flag. This should be the last set of tires that we see on these trucks from that pit stop on the last caution. We had about 55 laps to go, 54 laps to go when the green flag dropped. To our knowledge, a 56-lap fuel run is possible here. We'll see who can save it and make it to the end. Claim that checkered flag at Darlington. McCarty still just in dominating fashion right now, extending that lead even more.
Yeah, I mean, with what, got about 27 laps to go, so it's sort of a save 27 here as to get to the end of this thing. But McCarty's just done a great job. He's got the clean air. Garner can probably get pretty close, but the dirty air, like we talked about earlier in the race, is going to be sort of a problem as he gets to him with these older tires. I just don't know if Garner is going to be able to save enough, but we still got a long way to go. I mean, these laps are 30-second, 31-second laps. With still almost 30 laps to go, it's still quite a bit. Tires will continue to fall off another probably half second at least. And here at Darlington, a small slip up. We saw Ham get into the wall just a slight second, and he was falling back. Kind of flushed it up, caused a little bit of mayhem behind him. That's all it takes. And you see Jeremy Garner get into the wall there as he tank slaps it. So it doesn't take much. And McCarty's got a 0.7 of a second lead. It can go away really quick.
It really can, especially at a track like Darlington. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And one thing to note is that last caution being at the end of the run. Once we start seeing these trucks on the lower end of the fuel cell, that rear end will get lighter. Could pose some late run issues, as we've already seen. First caution there, just a couple laps in. That was some colliding efforts from a couple drivers, but the way the truck handles longer and longer into the run, it's something you really have to be able to adjust to on the fly. We'll see if these drivers can hold us together and keep it green till the end. Coming around here for the start of lap 77. Our closest battle at the moment between the 91 of Cunningham, who's gotten back around the 27 of Ellingson for that fourth place spot. Greg Bontrager still in the hunt for the top five. You see Mullins and Peters, a two-car tandem there just behind. A lot of separation, though, from 6th and 7th.
Yeah, I've been watching Cunningham. He is just as smooth as silk in these corners. He is. He's been, to me, if you're going to pick a driver of the night, I got to say it's got to be the 91 Daniel Cunningham. He's been unbelievable on the long run, being able to maintain that track position, and he is running. Him and Jake Cam are running fastest lap times on the track still. So Cunningham got a little bit of clean air out in front of him, so he's just got all that downforce. So running fast lap time, seems like the tires are kind of going his way. He's about 3.4 seconds back from the leader. It's going to be tough for him to run down Levi McCarty. He's going to have to really find some extra pace there. But still a world-class performance for that 91 machine. But I'm starting to see Jake Cam start to pick up the paces. You see Jeremy Garner again into the wall. He was hard in the wall, and now it's going to really check him up. And the 87 going to drive right by him. See if he can slide up. He kind of pushes the 42 in the wall, and the 42 going to have to fall back behind. So now last season's winner, A-Cam, up to second with 20 laps to go.
J-Cam with 3 wins on the season already. We'll see if he can make it 4 here tonight, but he's got almost a second and a half before he can add that number to the tally. That was exactly what the 87 team needed there. Try to extend the points lead a little bit more. Those bonus points matter a whole lot more than you would think. With such a short playoff bracket, rather. Only 5 races to do it.
I'm sitting here thinking that could not have gone any better for Ham, as although he does get into the wall right here, that's going to slow him up quite a bit. But I was going to say that was the perfect thing that could happen for Ham, because he needed to not have to battle Jeremy Garner for very long. He needed to get around him quickly. So that was the best thing that could happen. Not wasting no time, not losing really a whole lot of ground. He lost a couple tenths this lap, So he's going to have to gain about a tenth a lap to even have a chance, I think. So he's going to have to find a little bit extra pace, not do what he did last time by, and get into the wall. But if he can gain a tenth or so a lap, I think he can get to his back bumper for sure.
It's most certainly possible, and it's Darlington, so anything can happen here. 87 in a prime position, just a little bit of ground to make up. Other than that, Jeremy Gardner falls back to third. That will be, let's see, where did Gardner start the night? So he's still up 3 positions from his 6th place starting spot. So not a bad night for the 42 machine by any means. Jake Ham is up 6, and like you mentioned, the 91 at Cunningham up 11 on the night. That is most certainly a fantastic drive coming out of the 91 team.
Yeah, and other fantastic drives tonight. Craig Bontrager, who started in 9th, is now running 6th, but not because of that, but because of the point situation. He's 12 above the cutoff. He needs to have a good night tonight, stay above that, finish ahead as he gets a little bit loose there. But he's been battling upside sort of the upper half of the top 10 all night long, and he's been doing really good. But the guy behind him is one that really needs to have a good race, and he is having it right now. The 66 is Jamie Mullins, came into this race 4 below the cutoff and is now running in 7th. The folks here, he was battling Michael Kostick, not in this race. Chance Taylor is back in 14th. He's not having a great night. George Jewell back there in 17th, 1 lap down. He's not having a great night. So Jamie Mullins is one of those drivers that is benefiting a lot from points tonight. He may not be in an opportunity to win the race, but as far as around that cutoff, he is gaining major points and maybe even 2 or 3 spots just from the 7th place finish alone. So Jamie Mullins doing everything right here tonight.
Not to mention just, having that momentum swing in your favor can do big things for you in the playoffs. You go into it a whole lot more confident. Sure, you might not have a win on the season, but the competition here is so close on these Friday nights that it's almost a win in itself to make that top 12 to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, every point matters. You got the 2 drop weeks. I mean, Darlington makes the race not look as close as it is. Darlington separates any field. As you see Craig Bontrager now looking down to the inside of Ellingson, not quite there. But Darlington, it's a driver's track. It's such a 1-lane track. Momentum is everything, that it spreads out the entire field. But this is pretty dang close for Darlington. I mean, 1st through 10th is separated by 10 seconds. 1st through 5th by just 4 seconds. That's a pretty close Darlington race. As Ellingson now gets into the wall, that's going to open the door for Craig Bontrager. Jacob going to close it, though, as he is trying to hold on to that top 5. And Craig wants it bad, I tell you.
I mean, you've got to, being plus 12 on the cut line against a driver that's almost plus 40, that point can matter a whole lot more for you than it might for him. So we'll see if Bontrager can do anything about it here, as we're in the closing laps of this race. We're within 15 to go, almost 10. This race has gone by rather quickly, but that happens when they're running 30-second lap times here just for our 100-lap race. Darlington putting on one excellent show, as we're getting used to here on our Friday nights with the SAVE22 Truck Series. On the InVets in-car camera now of the 49. Just hanging out here, waiting for the 27 of Ellingson to make another mistake like he did. See if he can capitalize if he does this time.
Yeah,
both drivers around that high line, though.
Yeah, dirty air playing a factor here. You can see that Craig was not really able to get the run he needed last time by, though this time down the Boeing backstretch. I mean, really great drive. We'll see what he can do. It seems like you really have to get a good run here and get side by side into one. We'll see if he can get the momentum right on the back bumper of that 27. He's not quite there as they cross the start-finish line. So Craig, though, just hounded him. Like you said, waiting on him to make a mistake. Just as long as he don't make a mistake with you right behind him.
Yeah, a little bit of a checkup now from the 27. There's that lifting point in that middle section of the corner. That's going to give Bontrager the run that he needs. Not quite to the back bumper where he wants to be. Here comes the 22 of McCarthy from behind. Let's see if he elects to help anybody. Nearly contact to the wall for the 27 of Ellingson. They're side by side down the front stretch, side by side into turn 1. This is where that 49 of Bontrager wants to be. There goes Ellingson lifting out of the equation. Craig Bontrager now into a top 5 position.
Man, great move by the 49. That is how you do it at Darlington. Textbook pass and great sportsmanship from Ellingson, knowing that he wants to get this finish, not to battle. You know, it's not worth wrecking over 5th place. I promise you that. Going to let the 22 of Michael McCarthy, who is 29 laps down by. But 8 laps to go, going back up to the lead, and Levi McCarty has continued to keep that gap. It was down to about half a second at one point while we were kind of covering other battles. I've been watching it. Ham just cannot break that 0.3 of a second bubble. Right now it's 5.7 to 6.5, and Jake Ham really just not able to close in. We'll see what the times are at the line as they get 8 laps to go. And Levi McCarty, 0.2 of a second slower that lap. So Jake Ham gains a little bit, but he's going to have to do it a lot quicker. He's got to get there. He's got some lap traffic up against the walls. They're side by side in front of him. That is not what you want to see when you're the leader. That's Chuck Feltz, and looks like the 37 of Michael Seymour.
So Seymour was turning some fast laps earlier. I saw him on pace with our leaders. It's not where he wanted to be on the field. Jake Ham looks like some issues that last lap, probably some contact. Whoa, there's contact there with the leader.
Yeah, that was Chuck Feltz making contact as he entered into turn 1 alongside of Levi McCarty, and they make contact. Levi expecting the Chuck to kind of let him have that line going into 1, but Chuck drove it down in there side by side. Does he have any damage? Was that a hard enough hit? Because they clobbered the wall together. That is not what you want to see if you're the leader.
McCarty's still a little bit quicker down the front stretch. You have to imagine not a whole lot of damage there, but the cornering speed is going to be what's most important. If there's any sort of aero damage there, Ham will be able to take advantage of it. We saw the 87 fall back to about 1.2 seconds, but with that incident, immediately closed it back to just over a half second here. 0.6 back from the 24 machine as we're going to come around for 5 to go. It's Levi McCarty in the lead. Jake Ham, he's in the windshield. Does he have enough to get there with only 5 laps? It's a tall ask of the 87 to go back-to-back season 8 to season 9 at Darlington. But if there's one driver that can do it, he's in the best spot to try.
I think that was his best opportunity. I think he was probably checking up, seeing that happen in front of him, and actually checked up, lost about 5/10 along with Levi McCarty from that contact. And that was a great opportunity for Jake Ham to get up there and take the win away. Just couldn't capitalize. And Levi doing a fantastic job of not letting emotions kind of take the best of you and keep your composure. And that gap never really changed. It's still right around that 0.6 of a second.
It closes down rather quickly in turns 1 and 2, but McCarty is able to put together a good drive off of turn 2, extends that back before they get to turn 3. It seems like the 24 has turn 3 and 4 into the wall again for the 24 machine, though. There might be some handling issues for Levi McCarty. He might be driving the wheels off this thing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the damn nut came loose between the wheel and the seat right there when he made contact with Chuck, I'm sure. As, you know, you've been kind of locked in. They're 51 laps into this run, and that's something like that happens. It definitely can throw your concentration off. But right now, still settling in. Ham has sort of closed it. That last lap was about a 10th and a half faster. But is it going to be enough? You got more lap traffic in front. That's Matt Knights, or no, that's the 37 of Michael Seymour in front. Definitely could play a factor if they elect to stay on the track, as we're getting down to just one more lap to go here, Logan.
It's going to come down to the wire. Will the lap traffic get out of the way? They're going to be side by side. We got one of them getting out of the way. Seymour elects to stay on the track. He's going to hold that high line here through turns 1 and 2. Ham likes to see this, but it's white flag time. Anything that happens is final here. McCarty out of turn number 2. 0.3 of a second separate, and that gap is closing. The dirty air affecting the 24 machine. The 87 sends it in, but it's not going to be enough. Levi McCarty, he's going to get the drive off. Back to 0.3 of a second, goes to 24, and claims the win here in week number 8 at Darlington. Congratulations, Levi McCarty.
Man, that was way more exciting than I think McCarty would like for it to have been there. But, man, look at that right there. 92 laps out of 100 at Darlington. That is what they call, let me look at my notes, an ass whooping there, Logan.
You would be correct about that. There is no doubt about it. 92 laps for McCarty. The other 8 going to David Duke, who set the pole on the night. Just an unfortunately timed pit stop. It didn't play in his favor here tonight. Started out third for McCarty to take home the win. Jake Ham coming in second. But this really puts some more weight on that cutoff line battle, as Levi McCarty already had 1 win on the season. So tonight makes it 2, and it's going to be a big battle there for that 12th spot. We'll see a huge shakeup there between George Jewell, Michael Kostick, Jamie Mullins, maybe even Steve McDonald losing some spots. But McCarty now burning it down on the front stretch in celebration. Give him a few seconds of having that fast lap of 29.307 on the night. I don't believe that was the fastest one in the field, but it surely was close. No, that is the fastest lap of the night. The next one going to David Duke.
Yeah. Well, we say we go to a commercial break. I need a breather after that. That was pretty good.
Absolutely.
We'll take a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Well, all right, we're back here at Darlington Raceway, and you saw the InVets commercial there. A huge shout out to InVets. Sarah Harrison from InVets actually went with Patrick Drabick today and gave out the sim rig for the next sim rig giveaway winner. We'll have some stuff up on our social media about that. So big shout out to InVets. It's so cool to see Goat Locker doing those type of things. Gave out, I think, 7 of them last season. They have a goal of giving out 12. So can't wait to meet the new fella and talk to him. And just exciting to see all that cool stuff happening. But we got so many cool sponsors. And, of course, one of our favorites, Jam Printing Promotions. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They've been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community.
And doing good in the community, they are. Hooked up the Goat Locker Racing community with some hoodies here recently.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned it last week, and man, I can't brag enough about how comfortable they are. I keep finding myself wearing it here on Friday nights, but right into our results here. Only 2 cautions on the night. We saw the first one early, and the second one right at the ending laps of the first field run. Only 1 lead change on the night. That was Levi McCarty taking over from the 87 of David Duke, dominating the rest of the race with 92 laps led. Jake Ham comes in second, followed up by Jeremy Gardner in the 42 machine. Top 3 finish there for those drivers. Daniel Cunningham will take up a 4th place finish after driving through 11 other cars to get there. Greg Bontrager with another fantastic drive on the night, got around Jake Ellingson there late in the race. Started out in 9th, finishes in 5th. Ellingson taking home that 6th place spot, up 1 position from where he started. Jamie Mullins in the 66, a great points night, fighting right there at that cut line. He'll find himself above it now going into next week's race. Timothy Peters has 1 win on the season, finishes out 8th here tonight. Logan Sturgeon in the 26 will take 9th, and last but not least, Mike Browning in the 4 will take home 10th.
In 11th was Barrett Morton. Stephen McDonald, another one of those cutoff drivers that are trying to make waves. Pretty good finish in comparison to those he was racing around. He is a little bit above that cutoff, so good finish for him in 12th. David Duke disappointed, I'm sure, starting on the pole, led some laps early, fell back a little bit, but just got caught by that untimely caution, and we never had another one, and he was not able to get back up towards the front, but did fight back to a 13th place finish. Chance Taylor comes home in 14th. Matt Knight's in 15th. George Jewell in 16th. James Kaufman in 17th. Chuck Phelps in 18th. Michael Seymour 19th. Brandon Wallace in 20th. 21st, Michael McCarthy. Tyler Justice in 22nd. And, of course, Patrick Dravitt calling it quits early after contact early in the race. Comes home in 23rd.
Well, let's get right into our interviews. I've gotten down here to the winner's circle to talk to our winner, Levi McCarty, in the 24 machine. Levi, got Logan and Eddie up here in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do. I'm happy to be up here. Man, this was a good race tonight.
It most certainly was for you. 92 laps led. It's easy to say that was a dominating effort all night long once you got around the 87 of Duke. Had clear air there. However, got mixed up with some lap traffic there towards the end. What was the thought process there as that contact was made with, I believe that was Chuck Phelps there in the 75?
Yeah, just I caught him at a bad spot there. It was nothing he could have done. He did everything he could to try to give me the preferred line there. And I mean, you can't get mad at Chuck Phelps. He's one of the guys that's like the backbone of this league. Nicest guy you'll ever run with on here, so no ill will there. He was doing all he could. I caught him at a bad spot.
Not to mention scary. Have you seen those pythons on the broadcast? Like, that's insane. But you're mid-battle with our second place finisher. You got up to about 1.2 seconds ahead of second place there. It fell back to 0.6, and then it seemed like maybe, was there any driving difficulty for you after that contact was made there? It seemed like that gap started to close ever so slightly in the following laps.
Yeah, I mean, it just, you got to be perfect, and there were a couple laps there where I was trying to not cut the tires as hard in the middle of 1 and 2 to maybe have something there if he was able to get to me at the end in the last like 7-8 laps. But yeah, just trying to manage the gap and then see it close, and then just try to run as hard as you can without putting it in the fence, which is key, and for me especially. But yeah, just an incredible night. The pass I had on Duke there was really fun, and just being able to lead a bunch of laps again. I'm fortunate to finish this one off tonight, so I'm really proud of it. Yeah, the championship race, it kind of got away from me there. I had an internet issue, so this win tonight kind of makes, I mean, that one still hurts, but it feels a little bit better, showing what I'm capable of here.
Kind of a redeeming value to it, as we saw our third place finisher. He ended up winning that championship race, not even in the playoff bracket. But let's hit the rewind tape on the race here. Go back to the beginning half where we saw you get around David Duke. How important was the clean air on the nose of the 24 here tonight to allow you to get those 92 laps led?
Yeah, I was, planning on, running behind him, saving some tires, and then I just got up on the high lane there and got a really good run and just was able to get by him. And yeah, the clean air, it definitely helps when you go into 1 and 2 to not have dirty air as you're trying to get the car situated to run the top of the fence and then ultimately cut down and make your exit there. So yeah, it's clean air is nice, and it was fun to have it.
Well, it was fun to watch from up here, Levi. Before we depart after this win, for you to go celebrate, is there anybody you'd like to say thanks to for taking home our first place finish in the 24?
GLR as a whole, I say it every time, just an incredible place to come and race. I appreciate everything they do. I got a special shout out to B&H Racing, racing with those guys and one of the other nights in here. Appreciate those guys. And Fairfield Auto Group, Lincoln Tech, SAVE22, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, and you guys, I say it truly one of the greatest broadcasts around, and it's amazing to go back and relive it, and I can't wait to do it with this one.
Well, we really enjoy being here and watching the Goat Locker as a whole for the SAVE22 Truck Series. Levi, congratulations on first place tonight, your second win of the season. We'll see you next week whenever we go to Dover.
Thanks, guys.
Finisher, that's going to be Jeremy Gardner.
What'd you say, Logan? Or we're going to pull in the second place finisher?
Yeah, we're going to pull in the second place finisher.
I got Jake Cam in the booth with us. Jake, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, a fantastic race. I wondered if you kind of wish you had a better qualifying effort, because it seemed like you were one of the better drivers, especially after about 15 laps, as always, saving tires, managing the truck, and you were able to work your way up to second, but started to sort of hit a brick wall. What were you struggling with there that just kind of kept you from getting
Yeah, in qualifying, I just missed the one extra, one little tenth would have got me up there. It really frustrating. I thought I thought I would have qualified better, and kind of disappointed in that. If I would have had a couple more positions, I do feel like I would have been able to give Levi a little bit better run. Just getting up through the field, takes a lot out of your tires, because you have to set up your run coming out of 2, or coming out of 4 there, and eats up your tires a little bit more. But there at the end, with the lap traffic and stuff that was going on, I put it in the wall a couple times. Temperature in the tire, I think, just built up too much in the front right. And so there at the end, I just wasn't able to hold the line that Levi was coming out of 4, and he would just get a heck of a run away from me. I feel like I'd catch him going into 1 and 2, but then I'd just lose a tenth every lap there towards the end, and just couldn't put it together tonight.
Yeah, and that was the longest run of the night by far. And you had a great opportunity when Chuck and Levi made contact, but it seemed like you were just trying to avoid that becoming a part of it as well, and had to slow up. But you got down to about 0.4 of a second. It just seemed like you couldn't break that down bubble. And you had, I think you have, I don't know. Levi was fast all night, especially on the short run. But you had to feel pretty confident if a caution did come out, that you were going to be able to try to get up there and battle for the win.
Oh yeah, that's what I was really hoping for. Yeah, when Chuck got into Levi there, I definitely backed off, going into the corner there, just because I thought for sure Phelps was going to pull off that wall, hit the corner panel, and that was just going to be it. My race was going to be over, type of thing. So I just kind of woed up a little bit there. But yeah, if we would got another caution, I feel like it definitely would have been a little bit closer. But yeah, Levi just had it tonight. He did a great job. Freaking, I think he led every single lap, right?
92 out
Pretty
of
much?
100. Pretty incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. So kudos to him. Heck of a run. And Gardner there too. He put up a really good fight, burned up my tires, and it was good racing there for a long time. This track's really difficult. It's either something that it's a good run or it's a bad run. There's not really in between there. And I feel like overall it was a pretty fair, good run, good quality racing tonight, and proud of everybody. We didn't have a lot of cautions, so that was good.
Yeah, solid race out of you. Come home in second. You got 3 wins on the season. Maybe a little bit of charity work out of you tonight, letting Levi win 1. So congratulations, man. Second place finish. As always, man, the floor is yours. Who you got to thank?
Thank GM Printing and Promotions, title sponsor of the series. all the broadcasters and Alexander PCs. And appreciate you guys hosting it. Again, I say it every time I'm up here. I love to go back and watch it. It's just so fun. Closest thing to real life I can get, right? Can't afford the real rig. And obviously Mike Browning for the awesome paints we got. And then raising money for Bennett, burnouts for Bennett, and everything that him and his family are going through just to raise awareness for his cause. And again, yes, thanks for the hosting, and go Locker for the league. So.
All right. Second place finisher, J Cam. And I believe, Logan, you are caught up with third place finisher, Jeremy Garner.
Yeah, we've got our third place finisher, Jeremy Gardner, down here. Jeremy, we had quite the race here tonight. A little bit of a switch up early on. You kind of benefited from that move there with that first caution, taking out a couple drivers out of the top contending spots, but you gained 3 positions on the night, started out in 6th, ended up in 3rd. What more did you need on the night to get up to a 1st or 2nd spot?
Not running a sloppy race. That's probably the sloppiest Darlington race I've ever put together right there. Getting tight off exit every corner. Definitely fun. I mean, we didn't have that many cautions. I mean, it was fun there at the end. I mean, I was hoping I could hold on safe tires right there, but it just seemed like the high line had no fall off on it. So I'll take my top 3. I was hoping for a win tonight, and I was really looking forward to the winning tonight, but whatever. I'll take it.
Well, you're looking solid on that second restart there. If I recall correctly, second row inside, made a quick move to 2nd place. What was the battling like for you? Either battling the truck or battling the track or even the other drivers out there once that green flag dropped around lap 50?
At that point, I was battling myself. I mean, the exit of 2 is really the key at Darlington to gain any kind of time or position, but I just kept rubbing the wall. I had 3 and 4 dialed. I just kept scraping the wall in 2, it'd slam the wall, whatever. I had no consistency tonight. Like I said, I ran a sloppy race. I mean, if I could have put a better race, I think I could have been up there with Levi. So that was fun though. Congrats to Levi on the win though. That was a dominant race for him. So shout out to all the guys tonight. I mean, 1 or 2 cautions. So that was fun.
So with that said, you say you had a sloppy race, you still came out with a top 3 finish, so it's a good points day for you, although you don't need it already. Locked in, you guys are putting some heavy weight on the battle for the cutoff, that 12th spot going into the last couple of races. So kind of a script flipped from last season where we only saw 1 repeat winner for the longest time, and then ultimately you taking home the championship at this very same track just a couple months ago. But Jeremy, is there anybody you'd like to say thanks to for your 3rd place finish tonight before we depart?
Yeah, Pat and Jamie at Jill, I appreciate them putting on this whole league. Appreciate everything they do for the veteran community, everything they do for us. Of course, iRacing, one of my sponsors above the yellow line, SimMotion, and SAVE22 for helping out this in the series for the next gens now. They do a lot for this community as well now. So shout out to them. Of course, y'all put on a hell of a broadcast every single week, and we appreciate you. And my guys over at Premier Racing Setups.
Well, congratulations again. P3 tonight, up 3 spots. Jeremy Gardner, go celebrate, buddy. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Hopefully Santa be real next week.
Fingers crossed. Well, Eddie, it's another fantastic race here on a Friday night. Not used to hearing your voice here for the SAVE22 Truck Series, so happy to have you step in as Sky Shrek was away. What were your thoughts about tonight here at Darlington?
I mean, it's a race that showcased driver skill, and it was definitely on showcase tonight. We saw the best of the best up at the front. We saw some guys make contact with each other that ruined some races. But outside of that, very clean. It was the first caution happened within first 10 laps, and then we went one more little caution, and it was pretty much green flag racing from there on out. So, man, it was just an awesome show. I mean, Levi McCarty, J Cam, Jeremy Garner, Daniel Cunningham, and Craig Bontrager, your top 5. Those are heavy hitters. And then you got folks like Jacob Ellingson, Mullins, Timothy Peters, Logan Surgeon on the back half of the top 10. This track showed why it's the best, why it's a driver track, and these guys put on a show like they always do every single week. I would put this series up against any series out there as far as competition goes and clean racing. These guys get it done.
And I love the comment that Jeremy had made there about, turns 3 and 4 being his bread and butter. It's not something you typically see at Darlington. Most drivers able to handle 1 and 2 a lot better than turns 3 and 4. That was not the case tonight. 3 and 4 was the money spot for more than half of this field, and where we saw a lot of passing opportunities open up and being taken advantage of. So just like you said, a great race here at Darlington with just the 2 cautions. But next week, we're going to visit Miles the Monster at Dover. So we're going to go from a short track to an even shorter track. They are going to drive 2 totally different ways. It's going to be one crazy switch up here. So we're going to see a lot of action at that track. But for now, for everybody behind the scenes at Goat Locker, we've got Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkus, everybody else that helps out with the adminning on the backside of things that you don't see. For Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper, everybody behind the scenes at V-Speed. Of course, our producer, Eddie Smith, stepping up his game tonight, taking up the color role. Love to have you up here, taking over for Sky Streck. My name is Logan Threlkeld. Thank you for watching tonight's broadcast, and if you liked it, please consider dropping a like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another one of these races almost every night of the week. But we'll see you next week whenever we go to Dover. Good night, everybody.